welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Tan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. We're looking at some wines from California, actually, that are all very inexpensive. They're all $10. That's called Sand Point Wine. I actually have done really well with their Chardonnay. I have not tried the reds yet, so I'm very curious to see how they are. I'm sorry about the last video I did with the Dolcetto. I had a little bit of background noise. I'm experimenting with my camera. I'm hoping my camera is not going belly up on me with the sound. I've had trouble in the past. It's went away. I've been trying to solve it, so bear with me as I go. I hope this video comes out all right. I hate to waste wine that I'm trying on YouTube. And by the way, thank you for all your support, and I appreciate the comments. I appreciate everything. Just taking a few minutes out of your day to watch these really means a lot to me. And, I hope you learned something as well. And I really do feel that, spending your wine dollars wisely is important. I don't like to waste, I don't care if it's $10. If it's not a good wine, I don't want to buy it. In fact, I'm writing an article right now about wine itself is not a mystery. The big mystery is people's palates. And I'm going to go into quite a bit of detail. This is on standthewineman.com. It's under the article Bits and Bobs. But I've had this experience with these guys that love these high acid, nasty, they're nasty. They're nasty wines. And they'll extol the virtues of these wines and how great they are. And I'm trying to wrap my mind around why that is. Why is it cool to like those things? Is there a group of guys, that like to say they like these wines? I don't get it, because I've drank a lot of wines. I do like acid in my wine, especially when I'm having food. I love it, but not out of balance. Not so acidic that it takes the enamel off your teeth. Why? Or wines that's so dirty or rusty that you can't. I like rust in my wine, but it has to be balanced. It has to have other qualities about it, not just rust. If I want to go drink rust, I'll throw a piece of metal in a mud puddle and then go drink it. Is that enjoyable? But I think there's this mentality of this group of wine drinkers that really think it's cool to like these wines. And it's very interesting to me, and I'm trying to figure it out myself. Let's get started. This is Sand Point Family Vineyards Pinot Noir 2016, and they all roll in at $10. I'm going to show you all the labels, even though, there you go. There you go. I'm really hoping this sound thing is, I'm making some adjustments on the menu, all of that, just to see if I can get this sound issue figured out. What's going on? Got my cell phone shut off. I'm having trouble dumping wine out of my glass lately. I'm not sure what this is all about. This is Pinot Noir from California. Pinot Noirs, as we know, look at the color. I'm going to get into the color. This is very light in color, which is a good thing. You want your Pinots to be light. Of course, there's a lot of winemakers, not a lot, but there's some winemakers that put Syrah on their Pinot to give it a little bit more weight and body. Let's see what we get on the nose. Almost the first thing that came to my mind was oatmeal. Like the old-fashioned oatmeal. A little bit of strawberry coming through, for sure. Not highly aromatic, but, there's some notes there. All stove enclosure. Screw cap. Let's see what we get on the palate. Now, we talk about not spending much money, trying to understand them. This has a little bit of acid, nice kind of ripe strawberry and cherry notes coming through. It's a little on the sweet side. The tannins are sweet. Even has a little bit of root beer. These are all things you expect out of a Pinot Noir. Very simple, but it's a 10. Let's go an 8 in the delicious category. A little bit fruit forward. finishes dry. I don't get makeup on this, and makeup meaning, you know, at $10 they might do some things, dial some things in, add some things to make it taste a certain way. The only thing I'm getting is a tiny bit of sugar-fied action, but it's not super evident. You'd have to really think about it. It tastes like a Pinot Noir, which is very impressive. Even getting a little bit of a tiny bit of maybe a little bit of white and black pepper on the backside, which normally you get from oak, and this probably doesn't have. If anything, they might put they have little staves of oak they'll put down in there to add flavor to the wine. I'm not opposed to that. Some guys say, you know, they don't want to spend all that money on a barrel. You know, when barrels go from $700 to $1,400, you definitely don't want to add that. You don't want to put this in a barrel if it's going to cost you that much money. You won't be able to sell it for $10. I like this Pinot. I think it's a solid, nice little Pinot Noir for $10. I'm going to go C+. I think it's it's not super complex, but it's good. And you can just kick back and enjoy this wine. It'd be good with salmon, of course. You can have this with a lot of things, but you can definitely enjoy it all by itself. Let's move on. This is the Sand Point Family Vineyards 2016 Merlot. Clarksburg. What did this say on it? It said California, yes. So one of the things about Merlot, one of the reasons, other than the movie Sideways, that took Merlot out of the picture for a long time in the wine world, was that when Merlot got really popular, a lot of these Central Coast wineries just pumped out really inexpensive Merlot, and the quality was not there. So that wasn't good for the varietal, as well as the movie Sideways. But it's coming back. In fact, I think it's coming on strong, to tell you the truth. Can somebody give me a lesson in how to pour wine out of a glass? I can't. It's gotten worse. Maybe it's the level I'm at. I don't know. Let's see what we get on the nose. $10. $10 Merlot from California. Hardly, nothing really in the nose. Maybe just a slight touch of a dark cherry currant thing, but nothing really. Let's see what we get on the palate. This is crazy. This is solid Merlot. It has tannins. I get a little bit of a grip action on it. Has a little bit of an herbaceous quality to it, but it's not overpowering. I just notice it. A little bit of tomato stem, maybe tomato leaf, but it's very subtle, well integrated into the wine. Lots of dark cherry and some currant notes, and just a little bit of a spice that comes through. I find this very intriguing wine. I would not be embarrassed to serve this at my house. I'm actually impressed. A little bit of black tea, a lot of grip, definitely a hamburger. If you're having hamburgers, barbecuing outside, this actually needs food, which is crazy for $10 to say that. But I don't get like oak dust. I think they might, and I don't know, I haven't been to their winery, but they might actually use like oak staves, which is sometimes they use spindles, sometimes they have these different types of oak treatments that they can give the wine, not using barrels, or they might throw it in a neutral barrel. You can get neutral barrels for pretty cheap. But just like the structure of this wine, I like the flavors that it has. It has good balance, a little tight on the backside, but that's okay. especially if you're having food. I would recommend food with this. You know, I'm going to go almost to B minus. I'm going to go B minus on this wine. I am very impressed with this one. I'm surprised, actually. I didn't know what to expect. Sometimes I get a little, not nervous is the wrong word, but, you know, a lot of these sales reps will drop these wines off, not expecting me to do them on YouTube. They just want me to try them and see if I'll bring them into the store. But I'm doing these on YouTube. I had somebody send me a sample in the mail one time, and I reviewed it on YouTube, and they were nervous, but I liked the wine, so they were like, they sent me a little note saying, "Phew, glad you liked it. I was a little nervous, but you know, you never know, right? I'm just trying to be as honest as possible. I want you guys to spend your money wisely." Let's see what we get on the nose. Oh, I probably should read this. Sand Point Family Vineyard, Cabernet Sauvignon, 2015 Cabernet Sauvignon, Lodi. So Lodi is a fairly warm region, but I've tasted some really good cabs out of Lodi, so that doesn't bother me too much. There we go. Certainly hoping the sound comes through on this. It's kind of frustrating. Again, really branchy, a lot of tomato stem, a little bit of a blackberry stem sort of thing going on the nose, which is okay. Cab was, you know, back in the day in the 70s, all the cabs from Napa had that kind of vegetal, herbaceous, pyrazine quality to them. Almost get like a burnt wood component coming through, a little bit of smoke, which I find kind of intriguing. A little bit of, yeah, smoke, bark. So that wasn't the fires down there at that time. A little bit of dark cherry notes coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. A little bit fruit forward, but not out of balance. It's not goopy, not, you know, I wouldn't call it hedonistic. I wouldn't call it a jammy wine, but there's good fruit. A lot of you will like that. Dark cherry notes, a little bit of underlying currant notes coming through. So black cherries, currants, you get the idea. In fact, I even get a little tiny touch of raisin, but not huge. Definitely a delicious wine. Definitely a wine that would not, for the average wine drinker that's just looking for a good value and doesn't want to have to think about it, this is a great bottle of wine. And actually, right up in the front, the initial attack on the palate, you get this nice, you get that pyrazine, that kind of a tomato stem-y, blackberry stem thing, which is balanced. I mean, a lot of you might not even notice it. This has an interest. You might say, well, this has an interesting quality to it, but what is it? Well, that's what it is, and that's what you expect from a cab. In a lot of cases, I do. I like that quality in a cab. Good balance, not highly acidic. Just kind of falls in that nice category. You know, this is just a nice little red table wine that would go with it would go with a steak, it would go with chicken, it would go with a lot of different things. Not super structured, not super complex, but it's $10 and it's a good wine, and that's all we can ask. I'm going to go C+, B- on that. Sand Point Family Vineyards. Good stuff, guys. If you find these wines, I would seek them out because, you know, if you don't, you know, you're on a little bit of a budget this week, you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you want a good $10 bottle of wine. This is it, but I think the Merlot is stellar. Really, and I think all of them fall in the, you know, the good category. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to watch. Hook up with me on Twitter at @StanTheWineman, same handle on Instagram. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.